Section 8.3 is multiplying binomials, okay? Now, it says there are several ways to find the product of two binomials, including models, algebra, and using tables. Okay? One way to find the product of two binomials is to use the distributive property. Okay? So, problem 1 is using the distributive property. Okay? So, we've got, and rewrite it, 2x plus 4 times 3x minus 7. Now, when we use the distributive property, we're going to take each term in one of the binomials and multiply it times every term in the other binomial. Okay? So for the 2x, we're going to multiply that. It looks just like the distributive property, right? But everything inside the parentheses. Then, we're going to take the positive 4 and multiply that times everything inside the parentheses. Okay? So, let's see. We've got 2x times 3x, which is 6x squared, right? Then we have 2x times a negative 7, so that's a negative 14x. And make sure you keep pay attention to those signs, okay? Then you have 4 times 3x. That's a positive 4, so that's going to be plus 12x. And then positive 4 times a negative 7 is a negative 28. See? So now you can put your like terms together. And here are the like terms. So we have 6x squared, negative 14x plus 12x is minus 2x minus 28. And there is your final answer. All right, and there's the solution for the second one. Now on this one, you got to make sure that you keep an eye on the signs. Okay, remember the operation is the sign of the number that follows. So this is a negative 6 that you're distributing throughout the parentheses. Okay? Very good. All right, so when you use the distributive property to multiply binomials, notice that you multiplied each term by the first binomial, of the first binomial, by each term of the second binomial. A table can help you organize your work. So, table is another way that you can multiply binomials. Okay? So here we want to know what is the simple form of 3x plus 1 times x plus 4. Now when we're setting up our table, okay, we're going to put our binomials in the top row over here, leaving this space blank. And so this space you leave blank. And then the other binomial here. And it doesn't matter which one you put where. Okay? I usually just put the first one on top. Okay? So I've got a 3x plus 1, and I have an x plus 4. Okay? So you know in elementary school when you guys had those multiplication tables and you just used the table and you went this one times this one, and then your answer was right here. Remember that? And you said this one and this one, your answer is right here. Okay? That's the same thing. So, we have 3x times x is 3x squared. We have x times 1, that's going to give me a positive x. Over here we have a positive 4x times a 3x, that's going to be a positive 12x. And then finally, we have positive 4 times positive 1. That's going to be a positive 4. And then, again, we can put your like terms together. So your final answer will be 3x squared. 12x plus x is 13x plus 4. And there's your final answer. One way was to use the distributive property. The second way was to use tables. The third way is a shortcut called the FOIL method. Okay? This one's my favorite. Okay? You'll find the sum means you're adding, right? Of the products of the first terms, the outer terms, the inner terms, and the last terms of the binomials. FOIL, F-O-I-L. I learned the FOIL method when I was in school. Your parents probably learned the FOIL method when they were in school. Okay? The acronym FOIL may help you remember this method. So problem 3 is using the FOIL method. Okay? So, all right. So, what is the simpler form of 3x minus 4 times the quantity x plus 2? Okay? So, we will multiply the first terms. The first terms in the binomials. Okay? So, you've got the first and the first. Okay? So 3x times x. 3x times x is 3x squared. Okay? So that's the first. Outer. 3x times 2. Those are the ones on the outside. Right? So 3x times 2, that's going to be plus 6x. Okay? Then we have the inners, right there, inner. So that's negative 4 times x, which gives me negative 4x. And we have our last. So negative 4 times positive 2, negative 8. Okay? And then you just combine their like terms. If you can combine like terms, you combine. Okay? So we've got 3x squared. Positive 6x minus 4x is a positive 2x minus 8. So, there's your solution for problem C. Everybody clear?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Problem 4 is applying multiplication of binomials. Okay, so here we want to know what is the total surface area of a cylinder with a radius of x plus 2 and a height of x plus 4. And we want to write our answer as a polynomial in standard form. Now, you guys know standard surface area, right, of a cylinder. That means we want the area of the top, the area of the bottom, and the area of the around part. Okay? What shape do I have for this circle?
Circle.
A circle. How do I find the area of a circle?
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared.
But not the circle.
And we have 2 of them, right? So, in order to find that, okay, we're going to have the area of the top and the bottom. And we want to add the area of the around part. Okay, so this is going to be surface area. Okay, and the circles on the top and the bottom are the same, right? So we have 2 of them, and we're going to have pi r squared. Well, that's the around part. Okay, now, do you know what shape this around part is?
Cylinder. No. No.
What's a square? No, a rectangle.
It's a rectangle. Very good. It's kind of like a soup can label. Okay? Like a soup can label. The around part is a rectangle. The length would be the circumference of that circle, which is 2 pi r. And the height of the soup can would be x plus 4. So that's going to be the height. So there is our formula. All right, good. So now we're going to substitute into our formula everything that we have from our diagram. So here is our substitution. Okay? And you will see that this is what we just learned how to do today. And this is what we just learned how to do today. X plus 2 quantity squared, all that means is x plus 2 times x plus 2, right? So I'm going to rewrite that, okay? And now we can multiply our binomials, okay? So we have first, outer, inner, last. We have first, outer, inner, and last. And now we can perform our FOIL method. So here is what we have after our FOIL method. And now I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. Like that. So here we have a 2 pi in common, so we're going to factor it out. So we're going to factor it out. And when we factor out the 2 pi, it goes on the outside of the parentheses. So we end up with 2 pi, and we're left with this stuff inside, because this cancels, right? Cancel, 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 cancel. Now we're just left with the stuff in parentheses. So we've got x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus x squared plus 6x plus 8. OMG, what are you going to do now? Combine like terms. Very good. So, if you see here, we've got an x squared and an x squared, positive x squared. So, we end up with 2 pi, x squared plus x squared is 2x squared. Then we've got a positive 4x and a positive 6x. That's going to give me what? 10x plus 10x. And then finally, we've got a 4 positive and a positive 8 plus 12. And this is the expression that will give you the surface area of the cylinder. Last one. Problem 5 is multiplying a trinomial and a binomial. You can use the FOIL method when you multiply 2 binomials, but you cannot do it with a trinomial. So, one way that you can do this is the distributive property. Okay? So, we're going to take this x and we will multiply it throughout the entire trinomial. I just went backwards. Remember, Leilani asked, does it matter which one do you distribute, right? Doesn't matter. I chose the one that has the least amount of things to distribute, right? And then I'm going to take the negative 3. Don't forget, the operation is also the sign, so you need to take that operation with you. And you're going to distribute the negative 3 throughout the parentheses. Okay? So, we've got x times 2x squared is 2x cubed. Good. And then x times a negative 3x is negative 3x squared. And then, of course, an x times 1 is x. And now we distribute the negative 3. So negative 3 times a positive 2x squared gives me a negative 6x squared. Negative 3 times a negative 3x gives me a
9.
positive 9x. And then a negative 3 times a positive 1 gives me negative 3. And now, if you can, you will combine like terms. Okay? So, 3, x to the third, there's no x to the third, so we're just going to bring that down. 2x cubed. We have some x squared terms. There's a negative 3x squared and a negative 6x squared. So that's going to give me a negative 9x squared. Okay? And then we have a positive x and a positive 9x. When you combine those like terms, we get positive 10x. And then we're going to bring down the negative 3. So minus 3. And if you'll also notice, 3, 2, 1, 0. This is in standard form. So you can also do this when using a table, okay? And this is how you would set it up. And then you would multiply x times 2x squared, x times negative 3x, x times 1. Negative 3 times 2x squared, and so forth. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Okay, so we have 2x cubed. This one's going to be a negative 3x squared. And then we have a plus x. Then down here we have a negative 6x squared. We have a positive 9x. And then we have a negative 3. And then if you see here, look at how your like terms show up.
It's still diagonal.
They are diagonal.
Okay,